Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm gonna
Good morning.
get started in just one moment.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone.
Good morning,
Good
guys.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
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 How's everybody doing today?
Very good.
Fantastic.
Nice shirt.
Great.
My name tag, see?
If
We will
lost,
see,
please
Paul.
return to.
Exactly.
Morning.
So today I wanted to kind of go over and get some input from the team as to, what products, we're using to become a little bit more efficient in the coming year, and also just share with you some thoughts that I have that might strike some conversation. So I want to talk about some tools. I want to talk about, we all hopefully did our business planning. I want to talk about what's the value of your business, not necessarily if you're going to sell it, but what's the asset value for everything that you've worked to build up. And I think if you were to look at it from the perspective of if you were to sell it or retire, how could you monetize it? And the only way that you can monetize that business is if you had systems and structure in place. So I'm going to go through a list of some products and tools, and I'm also going to, try to get some insight into some of the, if there are one or two tools that you're using that you'd like to share with your group, this is the perfect opportunity to do so, and also take back from the collective intelligence of the group. Our team leaders have had some sessions talking about how to implement AI into our business. And actually, I need to reshare this with the video clip. I want to share with us a video about what AI, AI capabilities. I think it's only like a minute. And then I want to get some feedback from the group. So hang on for a second.
If you're a coach, consultant, or course creator, this PDF right here could add millions of dollars.
There you go.
As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things done. It turns out a big part of getting things done is making a phone call. You may want to get an oil change schedule, maybe call a plumber in the middle of the week, or even schedule a haircut appointment. We think AI can help with this problem. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
Has anybody ever seen that one before?
No.
You want to know the interesting thing about that? That was 5 years ago.
That's amazing.
That was 5 years ago. So the question is, how are we going to, be the leaders implementing technology change? What's our tech stack going to look like? How are we going to, use these things that everybody's talking about? Is there anyone using AI in any significant way that you want to share?
So I use AI on my keyboard, and I type in just a few things, and then I start talking, and then it does a number of things just like that video does. We're also using ChatGPT for most of our listings, and when it comes to AI, Remini is an app we use for pics when we can't get into a photo shoot.
What's it called?
Remini, REMINI. It's a maroon cover photo. And so Nancy actually just used Remini for a photo she's using. I'm using it for maybe 2 or 3 really common photos. And our newest agent just texted me right now, who's signing up next week. And she's not able to get into a photo shoot for about another 3 weeks. So she's going to use that for her temp cards. So that's something everybody can use. It's like $5 a week. And there's tons of use for it. I have it on my open house signs. I could be wearing this, but all of a sudden it puts me in a beautiful fitted suit. And you're like, no, there was no photo shoot, just AI.
Very good. Anybody else using AI in their core of their business? Like we have 89 people on here.
I use it just when I want to write something, I'll type in a quick note on AI and it comes back, with different ideas. I also use it for the listing description, to help me enhance it. Perhaps I'm not thinking of the right words. So I use it a lot for that.
But we have 90 of some of the most talented people on this call, and everybody's not shouting out and saying what they use AI for, unless it's in the chat box. Paul Santos, can you check the chat box, see if there's any people that are unable to talking about what they're using for AI?
Sure, let me go through it. A lot of the comments are just regarding the video that we saw.
Paul Texera, you're a tech guy. What are you using AI for?
I use it to write emails, listing descriptions, kind of like David too. I have it on my keyboard. Somebody sends me a text message, I copy it, and then I go to the AI keyboard. I hit reply. It creates a reply for me. Obviously I read it to make sure that it makes sense, or if it doesn't make sense, you have the option to refresh and get another, another text or whatever the case is. So I haven't dug into it as much as I want to, and the capabilities of, that a lot of people use it for, but, I already use it for emails, same thing that everybody else has been mentioning on the call.
Yeah, I used it in the past, and even with coaching agents and everything else, because I've never been one to like really have, embellished words and just descriptions on some of the stuff that people get very creative in how they explain their houses and the description of their listings. And I always used it for that because I'm very, very bullet pointed in the sense of my personality. So I used it very much to kind of get very descriptive and embellish and all the nice words to really enhance the descriptions of the listing. And then you go in and, you obviously change it up a little bit and customize it because, some of it's generic, right? But then it just kind of gives us a kind of a frame onto what it could be. And then I used to go in and just change it up and make it very descriptive to that property in a sense, but it just gives us a good framework. And to Paul's point, if you don't like description, you can go back in and say, enhance it or make it sound, more professional or whatever. And it gives you a second description of it.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Eric here. So I failed first grade. I'm so freaking illiterate, it's unbelievable. All right. And that's no joke. So yesterday, I'm busting my brain trying to come up with an email. I said, wait a minute, let me try this AI stuff. And I did a trend graphics comparison of my sales compared to the person I'm competing with. And in less than 2 seconds, here's the email. All I said to AI was, okay, I'm a real estate broker competing for a listing. Here's my stats. Here's the other agent stats. She worked with him 8 years ago. I'm just new to her, just met her last week, and AI spit this out. Dear Rhonda, I hope this message finds you well. It's been a pleasure talking with, it was a pleasure talking to you last week, and I want to take a moment to express my eagerness to potentially work with you as your real estate agent. I understand that you have a choice in selecting the agent to represent your interests, and I am committed to demonstrating why I am the best choice for the job. And in order to illustrate my qualifications, let me provide you with a snapshot of my recent performance in the real estate market. Sales volume. In the past 12 months, I successfully closed 55 properties. Average sales to list price, my clients have enjoyed 97.93%. Now let's take a look at the performance of your prior agent who assisted you 8 years ago. Sales volume in the last 12 months, 11.5 properties during that time frame. Average sold price, 91.95%. As you can see, my recent track record reflects a high sales volume and superior average to sales list price, 5.98% higher compared to your previous agent. These statistics indicate my ability to deliver outstanding results for your clients in today's competitive market. While I may be a relatively new addition to your real estate journey, I am fully committed to providing you with the level of service and expertise that will make your selling experience seamless and profitable. I would welcome the opportunity to discuss your goals and how I can tailor my approach to meet your specific needs. If you have any questions or would like to explore this opportunity further before we meet February 1st, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Your satisfaction is my top priority, and I look forward to the possibility of working together to achieve your real estate objectives. I have attached my competitive market analysis for your condo, showing the actual sold properties and marine blah blah blah, as well as top producer market share report performed by Trend Graphics, an unbiased third-party data company. Thank you for considering me as your potential real estate agent. I'm excited about the opportunity to serve you and exceed your expectations. Warm regards, Eric Pruitt.
How long did it take to do that?
Seconds, 2 or 3 seconds.
Wow.
Rob, I just wanted to add that at NAR, there's a lot of MLS systems coming, coming towards us that have the AI capability built in to click a button to ask for help and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've used it only as far as like maybe if I'm giving a presentation to somebody, but I haven't used it in my listings yet. But there's the software companies out there, the MLS backend systems are coming forward with it in their system already. So
yeah, I mean, I think your change is coming, and we either need to embrace it or fight it. If we fight it, we risk becoming extinct, or minimized in our business, in my opinion. As far as like a resource list, I put this on the there's a link on the email I sent out. I'm gonna just share my screen with you guys. So kind of like a random list, and I wanted to get some collaboration here if I could.
May I say something, Rob?
Absolutely.
So I have been tracking the OpenChat GPT, and I'm part of this group called the AI Learning Lab. And the assistive generative technology that everybody's talking about is transformer technology that was initiated by Google, and then this other fellow from OpenChat API, he kind of harnessed it. But what's coming is this thing called independent agent, where they or autonomous agent, and they act as us independently. That's what we saw with that Google. That's coming out now. It should be out this year with OpenChat GPT.
So how far in the process does this automated agent go?
Right now it's in just basically the alpha stage. It's really just starting to come out. They have Bard AI has Gemini technology that is supposed to be better than OpenChat GPT, but I think it's just more propagated for their own commercial purposes right now. OpenChatGPT was the reason why we have AI right now proliferating in society, because they opened it up to the world.
All right. So a moment of honesty. Who's a little bit intimidated by all these changes? Anybody a little bit? Right now, a moment ago we hit 100 on here. Now, in a normal world, independent contractors all try to figure this out on their own, right? But I think that we have the power of the group. We have the power of the culture that we can, lean in and leverage what's being done by our peers instead of reinventing the wheel. And I think the sharing, I think Eric, you would consider yourself to be on a technology scale. Where do you fall on self-reading?
A 3.
A 3.
1 to 10.
It's pretty impressive for a 3. And you just need to get out of your comfort zone here. And, if we can, use tools and remain focused, there is a good message for us here. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen.
Rob, I paid that $20 a month for that Chat GTP upgrade.
Okay.
It's well worth it.
Also with that upgrade, guys, is that you get access to this additional thing that you can upload files, and it's faster. So it's worth the $20 if you can afford it.
So here's just some thoughts here as we kind of get our arms around the technology piece. Technology can't do the sale for us, at least not now. And I don't know if it ever will. That remains to be seen. And sales is only an ear-to-ear or face-to-face activity. I know we probably know that if we think about it, but I think it's good to put it out there, right? Can you ever make a sale by emailing somebody or doing a video? That will capture some leads, but that won't make the sale, okay? Working with, a great group of, associates, team members here. One thing that I see is structure is our friend, and structure avoids decision fatigue. Okay. You know what decision fatigue is? When you sit there and you're thinking about what are you going to do. If you have a structure, you're not going to struggle with what are you doing next. You're not going to sit there and say, all right, let me check my email. Let me do this. Let me do that. This 5-5-4, 5 conversations with your database, 5 new, 4 follow-up conversations. Simple. Maybe we just want to make our life a little bit simpler, do things of that nature. Have the expectation, the patience to understand that, we have a transaction cycle that's somewhat long in our business, right? Most cases, it's probably 3 to 4 months from when you meet a very good prospect, have a conversation, till you get the money deposited into your bank account. Okay. We need to focus on, where our business is coming from, intentionally, and identify those resources and that we're going to monetize. And in doing a little bit of research, here's something that's good news in a pretty glim market is commission income, even with the scaled back number of units that we have, is probably going to be about the same as it was in 2019 before the pandemic, because the price increases. Okay. And, when we try to look back on, those glory days of 2021, 2020, the pandemic, it wasn't all easy, was it? I mean, it was hard. Like, we had to wear masks, like biohazard gear. We had to be inventive to figure out how we're going to get the business done. you know, there were days that we were wondering if we were going to be able to meet with clients or can we do an open house. But when we look back, we tend to look at it, we look back at it differently than it really was. Does that make sense? Yes, no?
Yes, we forget, we have built-in forgetters. We forget the pain.
Right. I mean, it wasn't easy. We had different struggles. I saw, I think I stole this from, I think this was a, Tom Ferry steal. So I'll give him credit where it's due. He said, what's hard about the business today has changed. There's no prospecting PPP money going to come help us out. Think about that, right? I mean, what's hard is different, but it's still hard, and it was hard then. So, off to our resource list here again. So these are some of the things that I just put together on like this spreadsheet, and because I always see a cool thing and I kind of forget where am I going to keep track of it. So this is kind of like my little list of things that we might want to use, or if you love it or hate it, maybe you wanted to say something about it. You know, dialers on the front end here, Mojo, Vulcan 7, RedX, Land Voice, for data, Cole Realty Resources, for skip tracing, Intellius, Locate Plus, Spokio. I don't know how relevant Spokio is now, but it used to be one of my bigger ones. You know, for email, BombBomb, MailChimp, Constant Contact. How many of us have?
Hey, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Do you know the Florida Association of Realtors just got everybody a free $30 a month savings on Forewarn?
I did not know that.
Yep, just got an email. I've been paying $30 a month for it, and it's now going to be free.
Wow. Let me put that here.
What was that, Eric?
Forewarn. It's anyone you get, if you get someone's like phone number, you can see where they're at, gives you their history, the property address, or you can put in their address and it'll give you their name and phone numbers.
You can even use it for skip tracing.
Yeah,
kind of words as well. Although it's not intended, that's not a official use for it, right, Eric?
Correct.
But it's something that we could use. BombBomb, Video Mail, MailChimp. I don't know if Mr. Glenn Baker's on. Were you saying that if you are, I think you said you were looking at a product different from BombBomb? And if you're not, we'll have to wait till next week.
Probably putting out a fire.
Exactly, literally. 5 Street is a tool that can kind of broadcast leads if you have a team. Yeah, everybody knows Zillow, Realtor, KV Core. Boomtown's now part of KV Core. Sync, Chime, now called Lofty. There are lead services that you can buy stuff from, the Share Group. By the way, Eric, I asked them for likely to sell, not absentee leads, to replace those 300 that we're testing. All the leads, bold leads, there are different text services. You know, outside of the real estate industry, there's a very generic service called Go High Level. If you're into the tech side, you know, outsourcing resources, onlinejobs.ph, jobstreet.com.ph, MyOutDesk, Fiverr, accountability system, Sisu, research. There's Remine. So there's who uses NAR RPR a lot? Anybody? Nobody?
I do. I use
I use it.
For comps, we use them.
So there's NAR, there's RPR, and you need to register with the different MLSs that you're on. There's a tool I just learned about today, which is Land Glide. Anybody ever heard of that one? Land Glide. It's a tool where I just use like the sample, and it will show you like the lot lines, measure the dimensions of a building, give you the owner's information, the mailing address, takes you to the county tax records and their documents. And I think it's only like $9.99 a month. And there's a 7-day free trial on it. Looked pretty cool. Just trying it today. However, New Jersey, due to that new law where they don't give you the owner's names, looks like it just says owner of record on there for New Jersey users. But for Florida, it has a lot of data. Like you could put, you know, like my last name, which is unique. You could put my last name in, and you can find everybody in the country that has that same unique name if you have that case. Marketing, mailing, you know, Wise Pelican. What other mail services are people using? Because I'm pretty weak on this here. Anybody using like a input and send mail service?
Like
I
MailChimp?
use Remark. This is Karma with Remax. I use Remark, and they do for me the community update card
What's it
that
called?
I send them. Remark, REAMARK.
REAMARK.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, they send me about every 2 months. I send it to, I do have about farm area that I specific farm all the time. So I send them every 2 months a community update, but they are really expensive. They are not cheap. So I would really like to have the one for $99, Rob, how we can go to it.
So you have a link to this sheet here on the if you go to the email that went out, you'll have you'll have the video of me underneath. There's a link to this document, and on the document here, you click on this resource list, and you can see all these different resources, which I'm going to add to those. Okay. Any other mail houses that anybody uses?
EDDM. I was gonna say, you have every door direct mail in there?
That's like the post office. You have to do it. You still need a mail house, and sometimes you might want to have them bundle it by mail routes, correct?
Lot less expensive.
It's pretty easy. EDM is very easy. You just got to have the right postcards that you send. Whatever you're mailing out has to be a certain size. But it's pretty good. If you had a printer, my printer wraps everything in hundreds. So all my postcards are in hundreds. So if I'm mailing 600 out or 650 out, they'll bundle them for me. And all I have to do is just fill out the paperwork, take it to the local post office, wherever I'm mailing to, and that's it. Takes about maybe an hour time. But it's the cheapest way to go. Very inexpensive.
I've used Mailbox Power too for mailings. They do postcards. They do they give you, I think, a free set. You just pay postage, but they work pretty well too if you don't want to do EDDM and there's no print quantity requirement.
And who's using them?
My name's Erin Myers.
Okay, Erin, thank you. Erin Myers from Morristown, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
What was that name again there?
Mailbox Power.
Oh, Mailbox Power. Thank you.
They also send little gifts too. If you had a great meeting with somebody, or want to celebrate something, they'll send out a little pack of brownies to somebody, or it's a nice mailing service.
There is a company that one of my associates uses called handwritten.com. So it's about $4 to send out a handwritten envelope, letter, and text inside. And I know Carlos Turner, I don't know if he's on here, but he has some handwriting machines that are, very expensive. So it's probably not a bad deal. And most importantly, it gets done. For mailing, there's KV Core has their marketplace. I don't know if anybody uses that. For design, I think Canva is kind of the standard bearer. For editing photos, there's Box Brownies, very inexpensive and good quality. We have
Rob, sorry
Go
to
ahead.
interrupt, but you should use Constant Contact or Eye Contact also. Constant Contact is really good. I use it to send out to all my SOIs, past clients.
So Constant Contact is email, isn't it? That has a mail server.
Yeah, you can use the email and you can also use it for social media.
You can use email, social media, drip campaigns, and text.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not that
Rob,
expensive, $50 a month.
Rob, do you think once this is completed, you can add it to the hub as under the resources?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll put it as a hot link so that as we change it, it gets updated.
Okay, thank you.
How about for schools? What do you use for, people inquire about, hey, how are the schools in that community? I have Niche Great Schools and listreports.com. Are there any other services that we use? Anybody?
It's a tough one.
I think there's Gold Digger.
I beg your pardon.
Did you say
In New Jersey, I think there's the New Jersey school reports, if I'm not mistaken. So I direct them to that.
I'm wrong. Wait, Gold Digger school reading.
I'm having a hard time hearing, so I hope that was an appropriate response.
And if there's
Gold Digger, not Gold Digger, school digger.
GOAL, right?
I must be really hard up for.
Goal like it's my goal digger.
No, it's school digger. I
School
said
digger.
gold.
Okay. How about when people ask you for crime stats? Is it safe to live there? How do we answer that question?
I also ask him to call the township. It's a public information.
Anybody have any answers on that one?
I do. It's Foz. I send them to crimemapping.com. And when you go to crimemapping.com, you put in the potential zip code that you're looking to move into, and it will give you this is like the area statistics of any type of offenders and so forth.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
For our Florida team, like moving to the state, if somebody's moving from the Northeast or the Midwest, if there are any great resources that you give them to kind of have an expectation about assimilating into paradise. Core Present, Core Listing Machine, state and local boards. I have that here in a couple places. And when I was doing, New Jersey, they have a statewide award system for agents to get recognized. And when I was going online looking at that, there's so many resources there. And I don't know if Fran is somewhere where you could talk, but I think most of those are underutilized tremendously. And there's a lot of high quality data that we're probably in many cases recreating when it's right available there. Anybody regularly use like the NAR data or the local board stats?
I get NAR data in my constantly. They send updates on different things, and I'd be more than happy to share them as they start coming in. I mean, it's kind of like on a rolling basis, what they do. And NJ Realtors also for our New Jersey folks has a wealth of information We have a legal library that you can go on and research, you know, a topic. And if there's no answer, you can submit questions on the topic. And this is, you know, this is all what we pay for in our dues. And they provide a lot of information. New Jersey Realtors just released the skinny report on the market for, I think it was for December or the year end. And that comes in an email. So you have to be signed up with them. And I mean, everybody has an email with them, but you have to, you know, log on once in a while and try to, you know, you'll get an email, a weekly email from them or a monthly email with updates and stuff also. So it's a great source for information. But I can share the NAR stuff. I think you can go online and find it. But I just get it in my email. I get more emails than I really am happy about, but it's okay. I would love to share that info.
But Fran, if you go on there and you have an intentional need for data, a lot of times it's packaged up quite nicely, like for how is a particular town, a county doing, you know, how are prices trending, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think
Well,
those
sure.
are things that those are things that the public is interested in, right? And maybe even sending like the a quarterly report in your communication with your clients to the town that they live in, right? So that
Oh
they
yeah,
can see
definitely.
what's happening. You know, I think
A boatload of info there. Plus, there's a lot of educational material. There's designations you can access, and some are even free. There's a lot of really valuable stuff there on both national and state.
For just, I just want to give a quick little plug, Rob, if I can, to the New Jersey agents. If you have a student going into college, the New Jersey Education Foundation, I sit on that foundation. The scholarship application is open. So if you go onto New Jersey Realtors, you should be able to find that link, which is great. They have to be like a relative of a realtor in order to qualify for the scholarship. Could be first year, second year, third year, fourth year, going for your master's in college or a trade school. So it's a good
Fran,
opportunity.
tell me again, what is the scholarship available to?
It's available to those going into first year of college, second, third, fourth master's, or trade show or trade profession. And they have to be related to a realtor. And they make their application, and we award a lot of money, almost like 60, I forget, I think it was like 60 or $70,000 last year in scholarships. So, you know, you want your
Is it
you know,
merit or
relatives to benefit from that.
is that
And
merit
at
or
Greater Bergen, we also have
is that merit or a need basis? Fran?
the applications are evaluated by the it's kind of more like, I think, in doing the evaluations the first year, I did it last year, it was a combination of both. They have to put forward some good information about themselves. They will eventually have to do like a video, and you know, so we go through the process and we read through the applications and then we scale it down. But when I did my evaluations, I considered both what their story was, what was going on, how well they were doing in school, what are they committed to, what are their plans in the future to give back to the community. You know, those are all really important things to put on those applications. And Greater Bergen is also doing, for Bergen County, we give away 52 scholarships in Bergen County through Greater Bergen County Realtors Care Foundation. I'm sorry, I got off track with this. I'm so sorry. But people don't
All the
often know
counties
that those
have.
things are available, and they should apply for them, because I think our scholarships at Greater Bergen are $500 to $750 each, and it doesn't buy much, but it will buy a book. I mean, or something, you know, and that's important. We give away one for every high school in Bergen County.
Brian, thank you so much for sharing the information about New Jersey. My name is Karma Max. I am actually in New Jersey. I thank you for this information. But also, I would really like to add to your to the NJ Realtors. It
Yes.
isn't amazing. I do all my listing package, all the sales package going for an e-sign to the client. It takes a lot less time, looks professional. It is amazing.
Yes.
I mean, we use it all the time. And actually, I do have an admin. She uses it all the time, and it really makes the business faster for the client and easier.
Yes. Great resources, right?
Rob?
Yes, exactly.
Inman News is also a great resource for what's going on in the industry. Inman,
Yep.
and they have a free part and they have a paid part and so forth. So the other thing I wanted to mention, just to piggyback on Fran, is every local association, just like Bergen, I think has an education foundation. I know in Central Jersey, Metro, we gave out several scholarships also. So you should go after all of them if you have kids or even, I think, nieces, nephews, stuff like that, going to school. A lot of times they have no applicants, and some of those go unapplied for, so it's free money.
Yep. Right into my next one here. I've been in the business a long time, and I had tapped you on the shoulder, Mr. Durso, for a resource for affordable housing. And you got back to me with this. I'm wondering if this exists in Florida, but here is a link to something I had never seen before, which you guys can see this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is affordable housing, which probably is underserviced because maybe they don't want to pay a commission because the seller the seller has a limit to the price that they can sell on it. And I don't know if anyone's an expert on affordable housing in New Jersey or Florida, but I had a terrible time trying to find, there was nothing in the MLS which was like low to mod income. And I know sometimes if there's a affordable house, you put it in the MLS and there's income restrictions, you get bombarded with inquiries because everybody wants to buy it, but they don't realize that it's limited by the income. And I know that there are also some really interesting and good products for low to moderate income on financing. And I don't know if any of our lenders have done any of those, and I know that they're probably the same as for us. The compensation is probably very minimal, but I think the goodwill is immeasurable when you do that. And I don't know if anyone has a story where you've helped out somebody with something where you made peanuts and then it turned into an abundance of referrals. I can't tell you where it's a granddaughter to somebody, and I think maybe it was even Jackie and Eric might have been worked with somebody who had them refer the grandparents' investment portfolio. Was that you, Eric? Where you helped somebody and then they gave you the grandparents who had like 5 houses to sell? Mr. Funk?
It wasn't me, no, I wish.
Talking Eric Funk. Or it's the admin to the CEO of Summit Bank. That was a big bank in New Jersey one time, and they got a lot of REO business from it. That's a true story. We had an agent that had a relationship, and I think this goes also back to Eric Funk when I was door knocking in Parsippany. One of the ladies we spoke to used to work for Firmenich, and we had a relationship with Remax of Princeton. Yes, Karma, your office, with Firmenich because of a relationship with the admin to the director of human resources put us in touch by saying what a great job we did. So even though they had a international relocation partnership, all the local business was circumvented by Mr. John Leyendecker to the Remax of Princeton connection that we had. So, that's thinking outside the box, and, it was doing right by a customer that wound up giving us a, immeasurable advantage. Nobody else were getting those leads, and they had a lot of relocations. So anyway.
Rob, let me just jump in. You were mentioning about any like special programs that are out there for low to moderate, but we do, there are a lot of programs out there. If you live in like the Newark metro area, it depends on the cities. If you live there, you could buy anywhere, and then you're awarded a grant to purchase anywhere. You don't have to purchase within those areas. But we also have down payment assistance programs where we give a grant at closing for up to 3.5%. And then if we can throw in a seller concession to help pay for the closing costs, people can literally get in the home with no money out of their pocket. So there are a lot of programs out there.
And how about in Florida?
So it's Florida. It's nationwide.
Okay.
Yep.
And who underwrites those grants, Frank?
The investor that we use. It's not a grant from there are grants from the county and the city. There are those types of grants. But I have a particular investor that actually gives a grant at closing that doesn't have to be repaid. It's not a second lien. There's no lien. It's a true cash gift at closing up to 3.5%. So there are a lot of programs that come between county, city, and state programs. But then we have specific investors that give money away on their own.
So is there anyone suspicious about free money? Be honest about it.
Everybody
Who's
is.
suspicious? Well, no, I'm not asking you, Frank. I'm asking the rest of the audience. Who's suspicious about, like, hey, this lender is going to give you 3.5% towards your down payment? Who thinks that they're probably building it into the rate, or there's some catch to it, right?
Yep.
Raise your hand if you do.
Yes.
Come on. Okay. So what I'm going to say is a lot of these banks have financial requirements to lend across the spectrum to the people in the communities that they serve. And if their products, only attract, or their salespeople only attract, the more lucrative piece of the business, there are requirements that are put on them to service, first-time home buyers, because it's part of the public good getting people into home ownership. And to me, it's kind of analogous to, why is public service, or whatever your local utility is, FP&L, why are they going to give you a grant to become more energy efficient when they sell you energy, and that's how they make their money, right? Why are you giving me a grant to buy less of your stuff? Doesn't make any sense. But they do it, right? Everybody knows that there are grants for energy efficiency, and these companies are actually encouraging us to spend less with them. So, Mr. Durso.
So, for example, M&T Bank a few years ago had done something and they got in trouble. It was actually a company that they merged with that got in trouble. Anyway, they were giving away, as part of their CRA requirement, up to $10,000 at that time to qualified buyers. And TD Bank today is in a similar situation and is got up to $30,000 in grant money plus an additional $10,000. So they're out there today in New Jersey for sure. I'm not sure about Florida, but I would think a TD Bank would have to do it wherever they have branches, and M&T the same. So it's there today.
Right. So if anybody has, any specific knowledge of these resources that you want to share, just hit me up individual. I'll put them on this list.
So there were 2 bills passed, I guess, in New Jersey that said it expands the state's first generation home buyer down payment and assistance program, and it provides up to $15,000 loan for qualified home buyers. But I thought that we already had something like that. Or is that's new?
That program is through the New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Authority.
Yeah, and JMHFFA, yeah.
And JHMFA, yeah.
Yep.
But I thought we had something like that already. Why are they saying that the pills they just passed in the new year?
They increased
It
the
has
amount
to
of
be renewed. I believe it has to be renewed. The funding for it has to be renewed.
Oh.
I believe, I'm not 100%.
And I believe it was only 10,000 last round. I
Right,
think
they
it,
increased the amount of it.
So I'm going to make a proclamation that we're going to start to put this information on our hubs so that we don't all have to research it. And I will tell you that, well, I see a lot of us are very resourceful, and we probably have quadrupled the amount of rentals that we've done from pre-pandemic to now. And I'm sure it's not because we decide to do rentals as opposed to sales. It's because that's what's the opportunities before us. If we take the time, and we'll put this on the state hubs, if you help somebody with like a low moderate income, even if you make less than a rental, more times than not, like that person is going to be so grateful that they're going to refer people to you, and those referrals are going to be incredibly powerful. So just putting that out in the universe, because it really does work. And you know, and I know our lenders, I've heard cases from all of our lenders here where, they don't have the right product. They're actually referring them to a resource where they don't even get paid at times, just to do right by the customer. Because if you're, 3/8 of a percent, 0.5% higher, in good conscience, we're not going to try to write that business from the lending side. We're going to tell you, hey, you know what? I know that this company is better for you. And, my best referral source I ever had when I was in the lending business was because I referred somebody to a competitor, because temporarily they had a niche product that suited their needs at the time. So think big picture. Don't think, this is only $1,100 commission or $3,000 commission for me today. Think about, the big picture. And even if you don't make a whole lot of money, when you help somebody who's struggling financially in a lower income to become a homeowner, raise your hand or both your hands if that feels good, right? When you help somebody. And it's hard to measure that by your ACH, because there is benefit from it. Any other
Sorry.
Go ahead,
Can I
Carla.
add something to the rental?
Yeah.
The rental, has three disadvantages. Please, when you take a listing, you ask the homeowner, if the same tenant remain, you ask for commission at least half a month. So number one, you're having a repeat business. Number two, you can actually, if you have the listing agreement, you have the lease, and you have the compensation, you can claim it in your circle of excellence. Number three, those tenants, they become a future buyer. So there are not just the 1,500 or the 3,000 you get from the rental, but I get a lot of business, because every homeowner, he listed his home, I asked for him that the second year for renewal, we like to remax, like to have at least half a month's rent. It is business, right? If you look at it in the future, not the amount, but the future for it's incredible.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Let's see. I just want to go through this before we run out. We only have 4 minutes left. Retargeting, if you don't know what that is, that's where you go on to, wallstreetjournal.com, and you see the ads on the side, and it has your picture on it, and you think that's only available to big companies. You can do that. There's a real estate, I believe it's a real estate niche company called AdWorks, and there's a company called YLopo, which does retargeting. I'm not as familiar with that. Efficiency Stack, Calendly, where you can have people schedule appointments without having to go back and forth. Google Docs. If you're running a team, there's a thing called Trainual, where if you ever get tired of saying the same thing over and over again, you just document the process, and it's there for people to utilize. So does anybody in Florida know if there's a resource for like identifying low income or moderate income housing that would fall in that affordable scale? Because I know a
Yes.
lot of people,
Yeah, we have the Housing Authority in Florida, and it covers the 67 counties. And the information is there for all 67 counties.
yeah, so if you could just text that or email that to me, Fozzie, I want to put it onto the sheet and we'll try to get that out
Okay.
to
We'll go to
everybody so that
IMAP
you can
too.
do it.
Yeah.
IMAP has demographics and all that information.
What's it called?
It's IMAP. It's on our MLS. If you go on,
IMAP?
it's
Okay.
IMAPP.
Okay.
It's on our MLS. And that
Oh.
You know,
demographic,
I'm gonna.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
This is Emily. If I could share something for the folks who maybe have not used AdWorks before. I have, and I would highly suggest, at least they used to, they had two different options for those retargeting ads. You could, take over a zip code, or you could provide them with your sphere. My suggestion for those who are thinking of using it for retargeting ads is to use your sphere, and you could actually include your farm in there if you have contact information for your farm, rather than have it go to people who don't know you at all, who may just overlook it. I think there's a lot more value in either those who are getting your postcards, your knocks, etc., or those who you already know to remind them that you're in the business.
Excellent tip.
Rob, may I say something? This is Jackie with
absolutely.
Motto Mortgage.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I would like to just ask everyone to remember you can work with your lender. Your lender has program where they can help you with your postcards and your marketing and your farm area. Talk to your lender, pick their brain, and see what they could do to help you with that service. And the other thing I wanted to do is let you know you could simply Google affordable housing in Florida. USDA is really big right now here in Florida, especially for the new office that just opened. There's a lot of land, and we're considered high end, high value areas here in Florida. We have some of them where they actually USDA will lend at the higher limits. The income can be like 150,000. You wouldn't think that a person who makes 150,000 would need a USDA loan, but the properties fall into certain areas and do allow for the higher income here. It's unique here in Florida, different than other
Very
states.
good point. Very, very, very good point, especially for the Vera area.
Yes. So one thing I would like to put out there, if anybody wants to volunteer, if you're like an expert at using your local MLS, I think if we had a session where you shared what you do and how you communicate, do you copy yourself on emails? Like how are you efficient and effective in managing, your business in your MLS where you don't get, bombarded with emails, but you're efficient and effective? So if anybody wants to volunteer, just hit me up individually, and maybe what we could do is we could do a Zoom session, and most importantly, we'll record it so that when, somebody comes and says, hey, I'm in Morristown, but I want to join the Central Jersey MLS, Rob, they don't have to be like, oh, how do I do it? Right. Because it's that one for me who doesn't use it a lot is a little bit complicated, because you have two different ways you can go in it, right? You can go Rapatoni, or what's the other one? Matrix. Yeah. So like, of course it's, some agents like, vanilla, some like chocolate. So they serve both flavors to you there. And,
And more to come.
Learning the hard way is not the easiest. So, if anybody wants to volunteer, just, send me a text, and you can kind of, hey, here's what I do when I have a client. Here's how I set it up. Do you take them off your CRM at one point and put them onto the MLS? Like, how does that line move for you and your clients? So,
Rob?
yes.
Hi, it's Colleen. I just want to add for Florida, I don't know, I would assume that in New Jersey, the attorneys write the leases, but in Florida, agents can use the lease through the MLS, but a better source, which I added to the chat, is Heiss and Weist. They will do a very professional lease for you. They will do included in their services, if they have to do an eviction, $75 to send the letter and so forth. So it's a really good source. In Florida, if you change a lease, if you put anything on it, the agent is breaking the law. So this is a very, very good source to use. It's very comprehensive. It's very landlord friendly.
And speaking of that, does anybody know of the service called Guarantor? Anybody? So I learned this from Mr. Carlos Turner. He was working with, he was working with a large landlord, and for a fee, I don't know if it's a monthly fee or a one-time fee, they will assess a candidate and they will guarantee the rent without having to have a security deposit. HEIST, that doesn't sound right. It sounds like they're heisting you. But this way you don't have to keep track of a security deposit. If somebody in Southeast Florida, Colleen, when somebody rents, who pays the commission, the landlord or the tenant?
Well, it's the landlord.
Okay, well, in New Jersey, in North Jersey, it's almost always the tenant pays the commission. In Central Jersey, Rob Durso, is it usually split in Middlesex County commissions for rentals? Or Bobby Golden?
It's a little, it's like a 30-70 split.
Meaning?
It's generally paid by the tenant, but there are some landlords that will split it.
Wait, they pay half and the other person pays half?
Yes.
And then when you go to South Jersey, it's always the landlord paying, or usually. So having this service, a guarantor, it kind of moves the risk because there's so many things that you can't use in evaluating people, right? It's almost like a game. Oh, you can't use this, you can't get the credit report anymore. You have to use what's it, NTN or some other service. And if you have them fill out this guarantor, if they damage the property, there's coverage for that. If they don't pay it, there's coverage for that. And then the third party service goes after the tenant to try to be made whole, or the fees they collect offset the losses on the times they have that. So I think that's a really cool thing that, I only learned about a couple of years ago. So
Yeah.
I hope this is helpful. Rosa, you have a?
Yeah, I heard on the West Coast, like Cape Coral and all, the real estate board does not allow you to take rental listings. So you can't charge for rentals.
Anybody have any answer to that?
You got to look it up.
Doesn't seem to make sense to me, but it could be.
Yeah, actually I spoke with Diana and we had a listing. I took the listing from here. I listed it in our board, but yeah, she said that their board does not allow commissions actually on rentals. I guess I worded it wrong. So that's
that's
something
one
to look.
board. Hi, Rosa. That's one
Hey.
board. It's one private board that doesn't allow it. However, it doesn't mean that you can't list rentals on the receiving other MLS next to it.
On another MLS, right? I think she belongs to was it Florida Gold Coast? I forgot.
So there's Florida Gulf Coast and there's Sarasota. Florida Gulf Coast doesn't allow you to, but it
Okay,
butts right
that's
up
the
into
one.
Sarasota, and in which Sarasota is stellar, and you can absolutely list rentals and leases there.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess you got to be aware of where you can and cannot, I guess.
Hey, Rob, I also want to mention one thing you mentioned about, and Angie also mentioned about splitting the commission on with the tenant and landlord. In New Jersey, that's illegal. You could only receive money from, one or the other.
I believe that you are correct, Paul, but it does happen. And, you know, like the North Central Board, I spoke to Mary Kano and she's like, I know that it's technically not allowed, but go ahead, Rob Durso, you have a comment?
It is allowed. What's not allowed is collecting two commissions. If the landlord pays the listing agent, the tenant pays the selling agent or the renting agent. It's not, you're not collecting a commission from both. It's, you're paying, one's paying one and one's paying the other when you split half and
Yeah,
half.
but yeah, this happens more on when you're representing both. You know, you're in dual
Well,
agency situation.
right, you can't collect two.
Rob, I usually write it up as a reimbursement to the landlord. So like I collect directly from the landlord and the tenant is reimbursing the landlord. That's how it usually works.
Yeah, so that's a red herring here in New Jersey on a technicality, in my opinion. But yes, you are correct, both of you. So anybody,
One quick question, Rob. What's a RPR?
RPR is that's NAR RPR is a property valuation service that's part of the National Association of Realtors. Yeah, pretty
Cool. From NAR, you saying?
Yep.
Well, actually, Tony, it's right on your, if you go into beaches or even into Miami, on your dashboard for the MLS, it's right there.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's for valuation. That's what you're saying.
It's an evaluation. It's a very comprehensive report. It does demographics. Take a look at it.
Okay,
And you
no
can give me a call. I'll help you. Bye.
And Tony, when I have an agent that says, hey, help me with the listing, especially if it's a newer agent, I'll go to Zillow, I'll go to NAR RPR, I'll get like 2 or 3 different assessments of value and then seek the comps and just factor all of those pieces in. And NAR RPR is pretty resourceful thing, and you can create a very respectable report in a matter of seconds and send it to a client.
I use it for listing presentations as well.
Yep. I mean, yep.
Rob, before we go, and I got to jump on the call, but real quickly, I just wanted to, I saw Jackie chime in a little bit before, but I just want to welcome Jackie Godheim to Motto Mortgage. She's been in the business a long time, and I want to welcome her to the Motto Mortgage Select Group in Florida. So I just wanted to give a warm welcome to Jackie.
Welcome, Jackie.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Everybody,
you. Thank you. Welcome.
I'll see you all next week. Have a great week.
Thank you, Rob.
Good
Bye.
weekend, everybody.
Thank you,
Happy New
Rob.
Year.